We've been waiting for a new MacBook Air for a really long time. And hey, we finally got one. And on the surface, it looks pretty nice, even though there's nothing particularly revolutionary or innovative about it. However, is this a good laptop? If you spend $1,200 on this today, are you gonna regret it in a year, or are you gonna be happy about what you've got? That's the question we're gonna answer. First, we've got to talk about the screen. The new MacBook Air has what Apple calls a Retina display, and this has been the primary feature that Apple fans have been calling for ages. And it's finally here, and in reality, this is a big jump over the previous MacBook Air, but that's not really saying much. The unfortunate truth of the matter is that this is one of the weaker screens we've seen Apple put in a laptop recently. Where laptops like the MacBook Pro dominate in areas like brightness, contrast ratio, and color gamut, the MacBook Air is more of a run-of-the-mill laptop in terms of screens in 2018. When you set up the Pro and the Air side by side, and you can really see this clearly in person, the difference between the two in brightness and color was very noticeable. The next big feature is performance. What you need to know is that this is an 8th gen Core i5 processor, but it's not the same kind you'll find in comparable Windows 10 laptops. In fact, this specific processor is unique to this laptop alone right now. It's a dual-core Y-series processor that feels quick and snappy, especially when you're trying not to do too many things at the same time. The limit, however, is in multitasking. It wasn't that hard to hit the performance ceiling using a secondary display, a handful of desktop apps, and 15 or 20 Chrome tabs. That might sound like a lot, but it's not unusual for my daily workflow. And once we hit that ceiling and had all that stuff going, it was pretty clear where the limits were on this 2-core processor. But if what you need the MacBook Air for is a bit simpler than that or a bit lighter than that, you'll probably find enough performance here to get you through your day. The third and final thing we need to address with the MacBook Air is battery life, because the original MacBook Air set the standard for how much battery life a thin and light laptop could really get. And Windows 10 devices have been trying to catch up to that ever since. And devices like the XPS 13 or the MacBook X Pro have actually passed it up since then. So how does this new MacBook Air do? Well, we're getting around 8 hours of web browsing in terms of battery life in our tests. And while that's not quite up to the 12 hours that Apple claims it can get, it will get you through the majority of a workday, and it's actually the best battery life you can get on a modern MacBook today. So considering all that, let's get back to that initial question. Is the MacBook Air worth $1,200? The answer really comes down to one thing and one thing only, and that's whether or not you consider yourself to be fully bought in the Apple ecosystem. Is the Mac the only computer that you are considering? If it is, the MacBook Air is probably the most well-rounded MacBook in this price range. Unless you're gonna spend $500 or $600 more on a fully decked out MacBook Pro, the MacBook Air really sits at a nice balance of price, performance, and features. However, if you consider yourself somebody who's just looking for a great computer and maybe considering the MacBook Air as one of many options, we really think there are a host of other Windows 10 laptops that give you better value and a lot more performance than what you're getting here. Hey, thanks for checking out this review. I'm really curious to know what you guys think of the MacBook Air. Leave us a comment down below to let us know what you think about it and how it compares to other laptops out there. Also, make sure to subscribe and check out digitaltrends.com for our full review of this laptop.